Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Bloom, Group Publisher of Walls and Ceilings, and welcome to a special episode of If Walls Could Talk. It is always so much fun to have with me Thea Dudley, the CEO of Pocket Protectors, LLC, aka the Credit Overlord. Thea, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, hey, Jill, it's been a long time. It's good to connect again.
It is. I know. It's lots to talk about. Thea, before we got on, it's clearly there's a lot going on in credit right now, and it looks like there's two huge things that everyone needs to hear from you about. What's happening and what's number one?
Well, the two things that are really shaping the landscape right now for, whether you be a distributor or a contractor, subcontractor, wherever you land in the food chain, is fraud and slow money. So we're going to talk about fraud first.
Okay.
So fraud is still a challenge. It's been a challenge for a while, but CreditSafe, which is a credit reporting company, just put out a report that 41% of businesses across the US have been hit at least 7 times by some type of fraud issue, which almost half of the businesses out there. To me, that was astounding.
7 times. That sounds
7 times.
And in what time? In what time frame? They've been hit 7 times in what?
Yeah, this has been in the last year. Okay. So, the biggies are, check theft, which is, your check washing, trying to intercept and cash a check. The other one is emails directed towards payments to new bank accounts. Somebody sending you an email that looks legit, but is changing our, how we're doing our payments. And then probably the worst is the fake vendors and invoices that are coming up in the B2B fraud schemes in the last, it was the top in 2023, and it's continuing to be the top in 2024. So best way to counteract these things, best way to look at this, online payment portals. If you have not, bit the bullet and gotten an online payment portal, eliminate the post office as much as you can. Even lock boxes, which used to be everybody's go-to.
Yeah.
For the check to get to the lockbox, it still has to go through the post office. So the best thing you can do is find a way to do it online. And there's so many options. There's so many great companies out there. You're able to, send a link so people can just click on it, do everything themselves. It's the way to go.
Okay.
And then for the other two issues, you need to really slow down and really look at your emails that are coming in. And one of the clues that you can find is always in the from, the to and the from senders. Look who it's coming from. There's going to be some inconsistencies. Your eye kind of looks it over and makes it look like, oh, I'm skimming over the mistakes. And then after you screw it up, then you're like, oh, I can see where there was an extra E in the name or something, but really pay attention to what those invoices, and especially if something sounds like, hey, why would we be doing this? It's okay to take that extra minute and, do a little research, make a phone call, really kind of scrutinize it and make sure that you're not getting caught up in something.
Yeah, that's so scary. I mean, fraud is something that's just so happens. It's happened to us. It's crazy how easy, oh my gosh, how easy you can be deceived.
Oh, and they're getting slick. You used to be able to go, well, the grammar in here is terrible. And now it's, everyone's discovered spell check now. So I guess, we're all on the same playing field. So the second thing we're going to talk about is
yes, tell me.
Yeah.
Say that again. Oh, slow paying money. Okay.
Yep.
Slow money. Those snails, like a herd of turtles, right?
Oh, yeah, truly. So payments have continued to slow. It's been a problem since all of 2024, but it's now really kind of culminating. And
so do you think it has anything to do with does it have anything to do with the election year? Oh, sorry, I totally cut you off.
No,
does it happen more in an election year, or is it just it's just catching up with everybody?
I think it's the perfect storm. I think the election is a good excuse because some of the pushback from customers have been, well, Thea, it's an election year. It's like, yeah, dude, it happens every 4 years. I don't, my mortgage didn't say, hey, stop paying me because it's an election year. So,
right.
I think it's that perfect storm. All the PPP money is long gone. You've got less projects that are coming out. You've got housing that's still lagging a little bit. Interest rates are still high. And then everybody's a little nervous, not knowing what's going to happen with the election. So they're hanging on to their money. Less projects means more competition. And everyone's fighting for those jobs, which then kind of drives the pricing down for things, which I don't understand. We get a little cutthroat and everybody makes less money, but reduces profit. And then there's less money to pay, your suppliers. So less money to pay bills. Materials haven't gone down that much in pricing. So, the slow money is really still a topic just everywhere across the country, regardless of where you are. Dealers, subcontractors, contractors, everybody's feeling it. So things to know.
Things to know for sure. So let's talk about this payment portal here for a hot minute. Okay. I don't necessarily always like to promote different companies depending upon who they are, but if somebody does not have a payment portal, where do they start?
Well, start by asking, because it's overwhelming. If you go out and Google it, a million things come up. And then that's where people get frustrated. And they're like, I just can't. This is overwhelming. Yeah.
Do you go through your bank? I mean, can you just call your bank and say, do you have a payment portal?
Some banks do have portals. They, if you're wanting something that's just down and dirty, super simple, banks are a good spot to go to. They're, a nice, usually they have something already set up. Their interest rates are decent. The other thing is there's supply is it's SUPPLI is specifically for the construction industry. So I really like that. It's got some more bells and whistles on it, like sending out your invoices and things. There's a lot of other companies out there as well. So there's tons of payment portals. It's just looking for what it is that you want, what's important to you and what you need. But typically, if somebody wants to just reach out and go, hey, who do you recommend? I recommend viewing a couple, bite the bullet, do a couple demos, make a few phone calls or emails, and just see what's going to work for you and what the costing is. It's really not, it's not near as expensive as having to go through the fraud process of recouping your money.
Yeah, well, I have to tell you, so I just, we just had a bunch of trees taken down and my contractor had a payment portal. But I'm telling you, I got charged. I ended up writing him a check because hopefully that didn't mess him up. But there was, I guess the point is that it was going to be a huge service fee. I was covering the service fee. So I guess the whole idea is that, hey, if you get a payment portal, you don't have to incur that cost. You can pass that along to your customer, right? I mean, do most contractors do that?
Well, that is true. But what happened with you is, we all bow up. I mean, if I have to pay a surcharge on a portal, I'm immediately pissed off. Yeah. But if they build it into the price, I don't care.
Yeah. So, then you would know, right?
Hey, if you're gonna do a portal and you're going to take credit card, which we live in a credit card world. Build it into the price of your product or your service. The other thing is even with a portal, you can do payment by check, put in your bank routing information. So it doesn't always have to be that way. There's lots of options. It's just
you don't have to physically mail the check.
Oh no, they can take a picture of it and process it through the portal. I mean, it's so easy. There's so many options. Anytime someone whips out their checkbook, don't take this wrong, Jill, but I feel like I'm standing at the grocery store watching Nana pull out her checkbook and I'm like, oh, lady, come on. You're killing me.
Oh, for sure.
So anti-check. It's just so sad.
All right. And so, let's, regards to the slow payers, should a contractor just hire somebody new to handle, keep calling these people, or do you just step up the what's the top two things that they should do when it comes to the slow payers?
Well, so just to kind of set the stage a little bit, according to the Small Business Association, I think it's 60% of construction companies fail within the first 5 years. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is, KYC, know your customer. Okay. Know who you're doing business with. Take a hot minute to look them up, and even a website is not a guarantee that they're crushing it. Anybody can build a really killer website, but pull a credit report on them. Ask them a little bit about where they've been, who they worked for before, if they've only been in business a couple of years. How well do you know them? What you're looking for is how they pay their bills, because that's going to be indicative of how they pay you. So, take the time to run that credit report. I think Credit Safe offers a really low cost alternative to maybe Experian or Dun & Bradstreet. They're all really good companies. It's just price points that are And then I think Level Set has a contractor's profile that is available on their website that's free. And you can just, put in somebody's name and get that. So there's a couple of resources for you. So, take the time to make sure you know what's happening. And then if you're working with homeowners, ask for a deposit down. I know lots of companies that they're like, whoa, Thea, we never get a deposit. And I want you to have some skin in the game. If I'm going to come out of pocket to provide at least the materials, at least get your materials covered, because suppliers, we want to get paid too. It's like, it's not that I'm not empathetic to your issues, but those are your issues. You created them. I still need to get paid on time. So, get all of those payments worked out before you get started. What's going to be paid up front, and then when that last payment is supposed to hit your bank account. You asked about hiring somebody. Stay on top of your AR. You don't have to go out and hire a whole nother person if you don't need them, but somebody in your office needs to be accountable for your AR, running it weekly, looking through and seeing, okay, who's past due, who made me promises that if someone said, hey, I put a check in the mail, okay, your check not getting here because you chose the least effective way to get me paid is not my problem. I'm still going to follow up. Where is it? It hasn't made it. What's going on? Let's get this paid. So squeaky wheel, that analogy has not changed over the years. The squeakier you are, you don't like talking to me, you can totally flip the narrative. You never have to talk to me if you just pay me on time.
There you go.
And lastly,
tell me,
hold your accounts too long. If you're getting the runaround from somebody and they're not paying you, at some point you're going to have to, make the hard decision to send them to collections.
Okay.
And the longer you hold on to it, the less that money's worth and the less effective your collection agency is going to be. And I've heard that, just across all borders with, collection agencies never do anything for me. It's like, dude, you held on to this for 6 years. Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Couldn't make this happen for you. So, get a hold of, and if you don't have a collection agency you like, ask around. There's always somebody that is working with somebody that they like and enjoy. C2C Collections is a good one. GB Collects is another. MAC, the law office of Mark Krakowski, there's 3 that I know are good and work in our space. So there's lots of options out there for you. You just have to connect with the resources and stop putting it off. Hope is not a credit tool. I keep preaching that to you guys.
Yes, you do. That's awesome, Thea. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. If anybody has any questions, how do people get a hold of you?
So you can go to my website, www.pocketprotectorsllc.com. If you don't put in the LLC, you're just going to get a lot of nerdy people with their little shirt pockets, but, you can reach me there and, or Thea at creditoverlord.com.
Sounds great. And you can always reach out to us as well at Roofing Contractor and Walls and Ceilings. But thanks again, Thea. And again, if anybody does have any questions for us, it is roofingcontractor.com or wconline.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for all our free content, especially sign up to receive all our e-newsletters, sign up and register for our website, follow us on all our social media channels so you can stay up to date and all the great tips and tricks, especially the ones from Thea. But most importantly, stay safe and healthy. And we can't wait to talk to you soon. Thanks again, Thea.
Thanks, Jill.